Welcome to lecture number 28, exception handling. So, in the previous lecture, I talked about the try throw catch with respect to Java. Alright. So, now what will happen if there is a situation, there are multiple, let us say, catch. Alright. So, you may have more than one exception. Right. So, till now we discussed about one exception. So, what will happen, right? So, if there are more than one exception, right, raised by a single code. So, if you want to handle these cases, right, this kind of situation, we have to specify two or more catch clauses, right. So, there may be array out of bound or there may be arithmetic exception. So, in that case what we have to do? So, we have to specify two or more, right. So, these exceptions, right. So, each catching exception should be of different type, right. So, that is what I said, it may be arithmetic, it may be array out of bound, or when you are converting from string to integer, right. So, you have to specify the exception, and moreover, so when you are writing the catch statement, right, let us assume, right, at one point of time we have to write, because the exception will be thrown, and when you are writing the catch statement, so that has to follow some order, right, that has to follow certain order, like let us say arithmetic exception will be in the top, it is like a super class and then the subclass will be followed. So, suppose if there is one catch statement executes, right, assume that the one catch statement is getting executed, then the others are bypass and execution continues after the try catch block, right. So, this is like similar to the one catch, right, similar to the one catch. So, suppose let us consider three different exceptions, right, that we are going to see in the next slide. So, three different exceptions. So, now, so you have try block, you are creating array of 5 elements, the dynamic array of 5 elements in Java, and then what you are doing, so you are doing two things, right. One is in the right hand side, if you look, it is 100 by 0, right. When you look right hand side, it is 100 by 0, and left hand side it is a of 5. So, you can access only a0, a1, a2, a3 and a4, right. So, when you are trying to access a5, there is an error. Now, the catch is, right, in fact the catch. So, which catch block will be called or which catch function will be called. So, try, there are two exceptions, one is 100 by 0 and then the left hand side a of 5, you are trying to access 5th index, you can access only 0, 1, 2, 3, 4th index, maximum 4th index. The question is now which catch, right, will be executed, right. So, here you are seeing line number 7 you have arithmetic exception and line number 8 you have array index out of bounds, right, and you have the exception, right. So, you have one exception well defined with E, right, you have an exception. So, there are 3 exceptions are there. So, now you can think of which one will be executed. This is a interesting point actually. So, if you look, the arithmetic exception is like in the superclass, rest of them are in subclass, and moreover we have to maintain the order, right, we have to maintain the order. Practical example I will give in the next slide, alright. So, here you can look, arithmetic exception is in the top, next array index out of bounds and then exception. So, there will be some hierarchy, right, there is an hierarchy. So, arithmetic exception will go top because it is like a superclass, the rest of them are the subclass. So, what will happen here, it will catch line number 7, some of you may say that it will caught, right, I mean 7 and 8, you can say line number 7 and line number 8 will be executed, right, 100 by 0 ones and a of 5 next, right, it is not. Suppose in cricket, right, let us say the batsman is hitting and who will be catching the ball, only one fielder is catching the ball, correct. So, in a similar way, when you have 3 catch, I am saying the function multiple catches, right, multiple catch function you have, but only one will be executed, right. So, when I am hitting, only one fielder is going to catch the ball, correct. So, in a similar way, so here arithmetic exception is at the top. So, since you have the arithmetic exception at line number 5, alright, so it will throw the exception first, alright, and then it will be caught by line number 7. So, task 1 is completed, will be printed and that is it, line number 8 and 9 will be ignored and it will go to line number 11, rest of the code will be printed. This is what exactly happening, right. So, if I run this code, you can see that task 1 is completed, that means 100 by 0, that is the first preference, hierarchy, right. You might have studied hierarchy of operations when you are talking about the basic of procedural oriented language. So, in a similar way here catch, when you have multiple catches, so the catch also has hierarchy. So, since I have here 100 by 0, so the first hierarchy I have to write arithmetic exception, so that will be caught, and then you look, task 1 is completed, is printing, that is it, right, the ball have been caught, batsman is out, alright. So, I do not need to worry about line number 8 and 9, right, exactly this is happening. Then it is coming line number 11, rest of the code will be printed. So, when you compile and run the code in terminal, you can see that task 1 is completed and rest of the code will be printed. So, now as I said, right, so here you see 9 fielders you can see in one frame, right. So, when the batsman hit the ball, you know that, right, only one fielder will be catching, right. So, this is what exactly you should remember in the previous example. Also there is an hierarchy, right. If you take a Indian test team, I do not know how many of you know there is an hierarchy in the slip fielders, right. You can see first slip Virat Kohli, second slip KL Rahul, and third slip you can see Rohit Sharma, right. That is an hierarchy, right, you can see. Or earlier days Rahul Dravid is in the first slip, right, and then maybe Sachin Tendulkar, right, and then Sourav Ganguly or VVS Lakshman. So, you can see the hierarchy in the first slip, second slip and third slip. So, in a similar way, if you take the previous code, arithmetic exception as a hierarchy, then the array index out of bound, and then the exception is going, the third one is exception is going. So, you should remember that first slip, second slip and third slip. So, that is why I put this, alright. And then, so when you are having the exception, so at a time only one exception will be occurred, right. For example, in the previous code, right hand side you have 100 by 0, correct. So, right hand side you have 100 by 0. So, that is the arithmetic exception. So, then one catch block will be there. So, it is going over there, right, and then that particular catch block is being executed, fine, over, the ball has been caught, batsman is out. So, then it is going line number 11, right, line number 7 it has been caught, and then the flow is there because it will not go further catch functions, right. Some of you may say line number 5 you have A of 5, right, array index out of bound. So, will it be caught, right? It is not, right, it is not, the answer is not, correct. So, once a batsman is out, he has to go out, right. So, line number 7 it has been caught, fine, over, it will go to line number 11. So, all the catch blocks must be ordered from most specific to most general, right. So, it has to follow certain hierarchy, the slip fielders example I had given in a similar way, because we are talking about the multiple catching. So, in this case the arithmetic exception must come before, right, whatever catch exceptions you are using, right. In the previous example we have used arithmetic exception first, then array out of bound and then the exception, right. So, there is an order, you can see what are all the orders, it follows like one is a superclass, in fact arithmetic exception is a superclass, and then there are subclasses, and we have already seen how the inheritance works, right. So, in a similar way, so it goes to the arithmetic exception and then it will be working. So, for example, right, so this picture I have taken from this particular website, and if you look at this code, right, the same code, right. So, A of 5 is 30 by 0. So, I have arithmetic exception, and then left hand side I have A of 5, right. I swapped the slip fielders, right. Now, first slip has gone to second slip has gone to third slip, and third slip has come to the first slip. I have changed the hierarchy. Is it possible, right. So, if you look any cricket team, right, any test match cricket team, so they have the hierarchy in the slip fielder. Suppose this happens, right. So, I have not changed the code, only I try to change the order of the catch function, but unfortunately this is not possible, right. So, you will get an error, right. So, there are two errors saying that the first error, it is saying exception, arithmetic exception has already been caught, right. So, in fact 30 by 0 it has already been caught, but unfortunately you have put line number 7 before, right. So, similarly the array index out of bound, A of 5, that is also been caught, but your hierarchy is exception. So, therefore, right, if you look at this particular code and if you run this code in terminal, you are getting errors. In fact, 2 errors you are getting, right. So, you cannot change the hierarchy of the slips, right. So, in a Java point of view, when I am talking about the multiple catching, I cannot change the hierarchy, right. I cannot change the hierarchy of multiple catching. So, first I have to put arithmetic exception, line number 8 should be in line number 7 and line number 7 should be in line number 8, right, and then exception, the last one, line number 7 should go to line number 9. You just change, you just make a change, make line number 7 and put at the last and then try to execute the code. In fact, we have done that, it will run, right. So, when you have multiple catching, so this is the rule you have to follow and then you can see, right. So, this I am giving as assignment. So, see what are all the different exceptions, like I mean in cricket you can put a 9 slip fielders, right. Assume that you have 9 or 20, find out what are all the exceptions in Java, right, and then you see what are all the order you have to follow. I hope it is clear for everyone. So, if I change, you will get an error. If I change the hierarchy, you will get an error. So, caution on multiple catching, right. As I already said, you have to follow certain order. So, this is due to technically, so your subclass must be placed before any of its superclass in a catch block, right. So, in fact, we have talked about the inheritance, right, the superclass and subclass property. So, whenever the catch block that catches a superclass, right. So, superclass will handle exception of the type as well as its subclasses, right. So, suppose if a subclass come after its superclass, so it will never be reached. So, for instance, arithmetic exception what we had seen is a subclass of runtime exception, right, and also it is unreachable code in Java results in a compilation error, that is what we got it, right. So, I try to put the exception first and then arithmetic exception and array index out of bound. So, then we can see that, right. So, the code is unreachable and in that case you may get the compilation error. So, the main idea is you have to follow certain hierarchy. This is due to the properties of subclass and superclass. So, similarly, you may ask the question, can I have several try statements? You call it as nested try statements. Yes, in Java you can have several try statements, right. So, you will have one try block, then the second try block, right, and then third, fourth and so on, right. So, in that case, suppose when the exception occurs, right. So, the context of the exception you are going to place in a stack, right. For example, I am putting the first try in a stack, that means in the complete block, and whenever the catch occurs, assume that second is also try, then catch occurs, the immediately catch and try, right. So, try, the exception occurs, that catch, particular catch block will be caught, right. So, this is what exactly happening. So, whenever you have the try block, put it in a stack, right. In fact, it is happening in the stack, it is placing in the stack, correct, and then whenever the catch block comes, right, and assume that inside the try block I have exception. So, the immediate catch block will be called and then it will be executed, right. If suppose you may ask the question, there is no match found. So, match found, if see before try throw catch, what did you do? Assume that you have written a code A is equal to 50 by 0, correct. So, then what happened? So, in the default, right, the standard library, whether C++ or Java, it will be called. So, that is why if you look at the last point, if there is no match found, so the Java runtime system, so will handle the exception. It is exactly like before studying this exception, automatically it will be called. Suppose in my program I have A is equal to 50 by 0, assume that I am not using try throw catch, correct. So, you know that this will give a runtime error. So, similar thing will happen if there is no match, right. So, for example, here, right. So, assume that here I have, right. So, first one I am getting, this is my first try, alright. So, I will put try 1, I will call it try 1, alright, I will put it in the stack, correct. So, stack is nothing but it will work first in last out or last in first out principle, right. It is like a file in an office, right. Assume that the officer is coming around 11 o'clock, the subordinator is putting the files, the first file go at the last, then second file, third file. So, the files will be piled. The first one he has put will be at the last, that is the physical example of a stack, alright. So, here in the stack memory I put the first try, and then you have second try, right, nested, this is called the nested. So, I will put the second try too, correct. So, it is executing, it is keep on executing. So, assume that I have, right, so this is second one. So, assume that I have some exception here between the statement 1 or statement 2 or one of the statements, right. So, then what happens, this is the catch 1 you are inserting into the stack, pushing into the stack, alright. So, catch 1, right, and then you will have another catch 2. So, what will happen when there is some exception, assume that statement 2 I have exception, right. So, try 2, so what will happen, so this is catch 2, right. So, try 2, so you can see the immediate catch, right. So, these two will be executed. So, try, if there is any exception, for example, assume that I am finding A is equal to 100 by 0 here, right, A is equal to 100 by 0, then that means this particular catch, alright, this particular catch will be executed, this exception will be executed, right. So, this is over, right. So, now the pair is try 1 and catch 2, right. So, when this is happening, right, in from this try, this is a block, complete block goes from here to here, right. So, in case, correct. So, in case any exception happens, right. So, in case any exception happens, so these two will be executed. So, try 1, suppose here try, assume that this particular statement is having some exception, alright. So, that will be caught by this, alright. So, this hierarchy, alright. So, this will be followed, correct. So, this will be followed. So, in the case when you have the nested try and catch. So, let us consider this example. I have 2 try, right. So, here I have a exception, right, the class exception 6. So, let us have the main program int c is equal to 100, alright. So, this is my first try 1, right, I put this try 1, right, I put this try 1, and then I will have another try 2, correct, try 2. Anyway, I am getting the exception over here. So, this try 2, you have one catch, alright. So, here there is no pair, you do not have one more catch, right. So, try 2, this is try 2, correct, I have already named try 2. So, there is an exception here 39 by 0, right. So, 39 by 0 and it is trying to assign B, right, there is an exception. So, that means try 2 catch 1, alright. So, that means this will be executed, for this try this will be executed, right. So, this will be executed, and fortunately we do not have any other exception, right, even there is no match, this is what I said. Suppose there is some more is coming, let us assume, correct. So, in that case what will happen, see, automatically the runtime error will occur, right. But fortunately in this case, right, so what is happening, so arithmetic exception E, so we are printing system.out.println E, maybe the program is continuing, maybe we will see what is the message, etc., right. So, catch. So, we have one more try, right. So, line number 10 you have one more try. So, I will call it as try 3, I will call it as try 3. We have one more try, and yeah, maybe I have to draw slightly more. What I will do, I will try here, try 1, and then you have try 2, then you have catch 1, and then your try 1 is coming, right, try 3 is coming, right, and then I have certain catches, correct. So, here I have catch 2, this I call try 3, and this is catch 2, and finally I have one catch 3, correct. So, now I will rub this part, right. So, let us consider this particular stack. Now, I hope you understand, right. So, let us consider this particular stack. So, now what is the pair? So, you have try 2 and catch 1, that immediate pair I am taking, right. So, try 2 and catch 1. So, arithmetic exception 39 by 0 arithmetic exception, alright. So, try 2 catch 1, alright. So, next you have try 3 and catch 2, the immediate one, right. So, try 3 and catch 2. So, try 3 is what? Try 3 is correct. So, that is array index which is going out of bound exception. So, try 3 catch 2. So, try 3 catch 2, the immediate one, right. Try 3 catch 2, and finally try 1 catch 3, try 1 catch 3. So, this will be your catch 3, right. So, now you have try. So, you will have array index out of bound. So, you are printing system.out.println E. So, whatever be the exception will be printed. Similarly, line number 8, whatever be the exception, that E will be printed. So, that is what we have to understand. Alright, system.out.println E. So, that arithmetic exception, whatever the exception that belong to arithmetic exception, that will be printed. Alright. So, 2 1 done. Then I will go for try 3 and catch 2. Alright. So, try 3 and catch 2. So, here you have array out of bound. So, whatever array index out of bounds corresponding exception will be printed, and then it is printing other statement. So, I do not have a, so first I will print going to divide. So, then arithmetic exception will be printed, right. So, then array index out of bound will be printed, then other statement will be printed, right. So, here you are having C is equal to C by 0, alright. So, this is also over, try 3 catch 2. So, try 3 over here line number 10 and catch 2 is obviously array index out of bound. On line number 17 your C is equal to C by 0. What is C? Int C equal to 100, line number 3. So, 100 by 0, right, exception, right. So, try 1 will catch 3. What is catch 3? This one exception system.out.println, you put handle will be printed, right. So, then you will have normal flow, correct. So, then you will have normal flow. So, when I run the code, so going to divide first, so that is what we have written, this is printed. Second one is you are printing E, which is nothing but arithmetic exception. What is the statement? So, this will be printed divided by 0, alright, and then array index out of bound, right, index 5 out of bound for length 5, yes, it should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right. So, this is printing array index out of bound. Finally, so here you are printing handled, right. So, other statement will be printed in line number 16, that is printed, and then you are printing, you are not printing E, right, you are printing this particular statement system.out.println handle. When the exception occurs, C is equal to C by 0, you have handled, right. So, that is being printed, and then the normal flow, it is going line number 20, right. Even though you have 3 exceptions, still it is going till line number 20 normal flow. So, this is a very good example, right. So, you can look, because you are learning 2 concepts. One is, so you have multiple try and catch. So, that means you have 3 exceptions. One is at line number 7 and second one is line number 12 and the third one is line number 17, and then you have multiple catches. So, where exactly it is being caught, right. So, for this you have to remember the concept of stack, how it is being pushing into the stack, and then the corresponding pair. So, try 2 is the top of the stack and then corresponding catch is this one, right. This is gone now, right. Remove try 2 and catch 1, right, from the stack. So, try 1, right, it is like a popping up catch 1 and try 2, right, popping out catch 1 and try 2. Then you are pushing try 3, right, and catch 2. So, try 3 and catch 2 are like a pair, right, try 3 and catch 2, they are like a pair now, right. So, for the try 3 I have catch 2. So, try 3. So, try 3 you are getting array out of bound, right, line number 12 you are getting array out of bound. So, naturally it is catching that one, right. So, when you are writing the code you have to be very careful of how you are writing the catch with respect to the stack, correct, and then finally you have catch 3. So, the try 1 and catch 3 will be the pair. So, practically also we had seen, and when I run the code, so till normal flow it goes, even though there are 3 exceptions. Another important thing you have to understand, it is still going to the normal flow. So, mostly we had seen, if you look, mostly we had seen try and catch, right, and then all these examples we had seen it is throwing exception, right. So, now is it possible, like C++ we have already done throw, we have used throw. So, like this can we use in Java, right, the answer is yes, that we will see in the next lecture. Thank you.